We're at Tihoi Venture School, which is an old milling camp owned and operated by St Paul's Collegiate. At the moment, around 50 of their Year 10 students are in residence here, and they're partway through their half-year intake. While the school and the camp has kept up with changes in technology, there's a lot of the old-fashioned traditions in place. Cam, tell me what it's like being here at Tihoi.
I really enjoy Tihoi because it's mostly outdoors and there's only 5 days worth of classwork, but there's a lot. It's like pretty much an outdoor playground, the whole range of Tihoi.
So what's the fun stuff like? Tell me a bit about the outdoor activities that you really enjoy doing.
Probably my favourite outdoor activity so far is whitewater kayaking. So this afternoon we're doing whitewater kayak too, but on whitewater kayak 1 we went to Tonga River, and yeah, it was quite fun.
So it can't be all good. What's some of the hard stuff that you find about being here at Tihoi?
When we first started on the first weeks, I found quite hard fitness, but gradually over time it's been getting easier and easier. So.
And you've had some pretty big improvement in your running times?
Yeah, on the 4K, I got 17th. On the 7K yesterday, I got 6th, and so I was pretty happy with that. Their experience here at Tihoi is a really life-changing one for these Year 10 boys. During their half-year intake, they only go home 4 times, which is a really long time away from their families. Obviously, there's a really strong emphasis on sport and physical activities, but also really important is the academic side of things, and these boys are doing some work towards the NCA Level 1. There's also a really strong emphasis on the cultural side of things, and they have to learn to live together in houses, which I think is really fantastic. Clay, can you tell me what a typical day is like here at Tihoi from start to finish?
You'll wake up generally around 6 o'clock. If you're a cook, then you'll go straight to the kitchen and put the fire on. If you don't have the fire on by 6:15, then you've got to go for a swim in the creek, and you'll cook the breakfast and have it ready by 7 o'clock. And at the same time as that, the other students that aren't cooks will be doing a morning surprise routine, which is just really a wake-up activity. So you could be playing bull rush on the field or ball tag or an activity up in the dining hall.
Can you tell me about the morning surprise this morning?
This morning in morning surprise, we attempted the human machine, which for us, we were in teams of 6 or 7, and we had 4, the first time we had 4 arms, so 4 arms touching the ground, and 5 legs. So we had to balance, piggyback, wheelbarrow all the people. It was quite challenging. We had a few disagreements in getting the idea. And then after we completed that, we had to move on to slightly smaller, so 3 arms and 4 legs, and that was basically it. Most people completed that. Then it went from there. It's still pretty tough, but yeah, it's good fun.
So once you get back from that, it'll be breakfast. Breakfast spans through to 7:30, and after that you start cleaning your house, and you have to clean all the personal areas, the kitchen, just everything in the house until around about 8:20, and at that time we have an inspection. So yeah, the inspection's out of 40 marks, and anything less than 5 crosses and you'll be going, either get locked out of your house if you've failed 3 times, or so you don't really want to fail. So one of the really cool things that we do is outdoor weekends. So every Wednesday, Thursday and Friday you'll be out in the outdoors doing a range of activities, including kayaking, tramping or rock climbing.
Welcome to Polly's House Chapel Service. Would you all please remove your hats? We'll begin with the opening responses.
So what's the hardest thing about being at Tihoi for you?
The hardest things about Tihoi is just preparing yourself for what you have to do that day and things that will be coming up. So since you have to wash your own clothes, you have to be on time and punctual about that, so you get them washed and dry for the next time you need them. So you just have to really organise your times and what you're going to do that day and know that morning how you're going to do it.
And what do you think when you leave Tihoi at the end of your rotation? What are the things that you think you'll take with you, the lessons, and what do you think you'll do differently going forward as a result of Tihoi?
Well, I'm sure that you'll be just more prepared for everything, and hopefully, I guess everybody's hoping that you'll tidy your room now and things, so you'll definitely be better at cleaning, and you'll just get good lessons with working with other people. Just back at school and classes, I think you'll be a lot better at just getting along with people.
Let's have a look around one of the student houses here at Tihoi. We're standing in the dining room, which is where the students share most meals, including breakfast and dinner. Here behind me, I've got a wall which has got plates with the names of a number of the students that have actually lived in this house. Now let's go through and have a look at the kitchen. The boys are responsible for preparing most of their own breakfasts and cooking most of their dinners. They've got a pantry over here with all of their groceries and cooking basics. And then over here, they've got a coal range which they need to light every morning. How many of you have to do that at home? Let's go and check out the bedrooms. This is one of the house bedrooms where 3 boys will share a bedroom for their entire stay here at Tihoi. While you can see it's pretty cosy, it's also really organised. Every morning the boys have to do a whole range of chores to keep the house functioning. One of the chores is making their beds. How many of you get your kids to make their beds every morning? What's it like living in a house with 7 other guys your same age as you?
It does have its up and downs. Like, our house has definitely had heaps of highs with its cleaning. We've had the couch twice, just when you win the week's competition. And you definitely have lows when someone maybe gets a bit slack on their job sometimes.
Tell me about your family and what it's like being away from them for so long.
You definitely do miss them. Like, at times, like in the 4 weeks before you go home, about 3rd weekend you start to realise and what they'll do for you, and especially when you go into survival with 6 house solos and that, you really do appreciate what they have done for you.
I know you've got the mail drop-off later. I've just seen the mail van go past. What's it like when you get parcels from home or letters from home?
Well, it's usually quite exciting. Like, the house usually gets quite excited when either they get a letter or especially a parcel with fruit in it. It's usually quite a good one.
So do you sort of sit around together and open your parcels?
No, we have to open our parcels back at the office because they need to check them for like lollies or anything that we're not allowed.
How often do people get things in their parcels that they're not allowed?
I do not think that has happened yet, but like sometimes parents send down board games and they open it up, check through everything. Like a boy got a pair of socks and someone opened up the socks and checked down the end of the socks, pulled it out.
Initially, when we first came down, just through neighbours in the area, I saw this. I remember driving past the first time and just seeing a sign pointing down the road and seeing Tihoi Venture School. And I thought, oh, what's that? But originally it was through just people in the area talking about it and saying what a fantastic place it was. And I remember, I think like the first time, I don't think I've even told you, Mike, I actually drove down here one time and
to check it out.
Yeah, I did. I came down for a little sneaky because I thought, oh, I wonder if I'll get a chance to go in there sometime. And so I just did a little drive down and then I thought, oh, someone might see me. So I drove back again. But probably a couple of months later, we had the opportunity to come down. So, but it was really through other people around who either had boys go through here and sort of were more the 60s age group, and they really raved about the place, just said it was a fantastic place. So I was really curious about it, and I think the first time we came here was probably a community dinner.
Yeah, we got invited to a community dinner. Yeah, ever since, we've been involved ever since, really.
Yeah, the program here has had lots of benefits to the community. I think it's been a two-way thing. In some ways, it's now seen as the place for emergency. If there was a disaster, a place that people in the community would come to and report in. But also, you could say there's a local primary school in the area, Maraturi Primary, and I know Sin's on the board there, so she has a very strong presence both here at Tihoi but also within the local primary school. And there are lots of times when she has gone in there with boys and helping out with the sports program and doing extra sports. And that's been fantastic because, like many primary schools today, male teachers are of a minimum. In fact, I think there's probably only one there at the moment. So when Sin goes in there and takes the boys in there, it's just fabulous, like big brothers for the young primary school kids to play soccer with or whatever sport she's addressing. And then they have the local agricultural day, etc., and several people from here are involved. So there's quite a lot of a link between here and the local primary school. They come together quite a lot. So,
and I think what community wouldn't relish having a facility like this in their midst? I mean, you've got everything from the dining hall to the ropes course to. So if you're looking to organise functions or everything from weddings to get-togethers, Tihoi have always been really great at making those facilities available to the local community. So it's like having your own management training facility, your own wedding facility, a whole range of things just here on your doorstep.
The Rugby World Cup, we watched the finals here. When the Rugby World Cup was on, I think there was about 150 of us in the dining room, and we ended up coming in, and that was a gathering, and we watched it, I think, with the boys that time too, didn't we? It was fabulous. And even there was we even had a mental health workshop in the area, and it was actually facilitated and used here. So I think that brought a lot of people of the community and the farming community in here. And in some ways, maybe this was seen as a safe place to come because we'd come for other reasons, and some people, mental health is not a topic that the farming community normally would want to talk about or anything like that. So that was lovely that this facility was available to hold something like that.
So we've been involved with Tihoi for 11 and a half years now. It's not long after we moved here when we first heard about the place. So it's a long time to be part of an organisation, and so we've got to know it really well. And I'm really 100% behind what they do here.
Yeah, so we had a young boy, I think we'd sent him here too. Our own son went through Auckland Boys in Auckland, so and we were very happy with that, but they didn't have an outdoor program, and now that I've seen the way this place runs, I would be very tempted to put a son through.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have any more children.
No, well, we could have grandchildren though. We could have grandchildren, Could be a grandson who's a future boy at St Paul's, you never know.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're in the kitchen of the Tihoi operation to see how it all runs so smoothly. Jeff, can you tell me what it's like a day here at Tihoi for you?
Day here at Tihoi for me, I mean, I've only been doing it for about 10 days, but the routine starts to form pretty quick. I mean, we get in the kitchen at about 8 in the morning and start preparing for their lunch. They get their cooked lunch in the dining room. And from there we start organising, after lunch we start organising all their rations. We've got their ration boxes down here that we pack their dinner with recipes in, and their breakfast for the following day. Then outside we have a freezer and that's full of bread that they grab themselves, and a fridge with milk that they grab for themselves. And then organising also for their outdoors. So there's something going on every day, especially leading into packing all their food so they can go into the outdoors for 2 days. A lot of ordering, a lot of organisation to make sure that goes out right, because you can't afford to send out 50 boys into the outdoors for 2 days and cut them short on supplies or give them food that they haven't got the equipment to cook. So although it would seem pretty simple, it's a pretty big organisation to run, pretty big operation to run. Sorry. We've got all this stuff here, and that's just for their ration boxes, and they plough through this stuff pretty quick. They just this is just sort of basic stuff that they have on hand so that they can do their own cooking. Volume-wise, I mean, for lunch you probably go through about 50 to 60 kilos of food just for lunch, between meat and veg and everything like that. The boys eat pretty well. So yeah, huge volume that we go through.
Okay, you have got 10 minutes to sort yourselves out with the right gear for the afternoon. Okay, the weather forecast is fine, but there are still showers around, so you need to be wearing the right clothes. What would you not be wearing? Awesome. Cool. We're not doing
So logistically, you know, how much are you having to order and how often and things like that?
We get 4 deliveries a week, on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It varies, it really varies. I'm still not quite sure exactly how much we go through. A lot. That's what I know. You know, like, I mean, last night they ate probably 25 kilos, 30 kilos of meat for their dinner. And then, yeah, I mean, huge volume. And it's regular, it's every day. So we've constantly got big loads of food coming in and big loads of food going out. It really doesn't take long to empty the place out.
water bottle, sunscreen, survival kit. No, you don't need your survival kit. Your science gear. So investigation materials, it says here. What do you need to carry out this investigation, Hawaii?
You need a piece of paper that we're going to pass.
Yep, you need the piece of paper that you're going to write down your results on. What else do you need?
What's the main difference in a role like this compared to chefing in a restaurant?
Biggest difference is I know what I've got every day here. You know, I've got 50 boys and I've got staff. So I know exactly what's coming every day. We've got their routine outlined. I know exactly when they're going into the outdoors. Their menus are all planned, everything's structured. Whereas in a restaurant, a lot of the time you've got no idea who's coming in. I mean, you could have nobody booked and end up with 50 people walking in, or you could end up with 50 people booked and only 50 coming in kind of thing. So you've got to be ready for anything in the restaurant thing. Here it's a bit more structured, a bit more organised. It comes with its own challenges. Like I said, you have to be really organised, making sure you're going into the outdoors. You can't run out of anything. Dietary requirements, especially with these boys with nut allergies and stuff like that. I mean, you've got to be super careful with that sort of thing.
And what's it like working with and dealing with 14-year-old boys?
I really enjoy it. They're really cool to work with, you know, like they're really appreciative, they're really polite. They don't go into TripAdvisor after they've had a bad meal. They're really cool and they help out a lot in the kitchen, you know. They do a lot of the cleaning up, they peel all the spuds, I get 2 boys for half an hour in the morning. I really enjoy it. Yeah, they're good people to be around.
And what's it like living here?
Great, yeah, really good community. Living right in the middle of some of the best walking tracks and mountain biking tracks that you've got available. Like I said, telling you earlier, I finished work and then popped 5 minutes up the road and did a 120-foot abseil and then walked the dog and back home. And all the staff are really cool, really nice little community going on out here. Certainly don't miss the city at all, no itch to go back.
Carrots and corn, yeah. You got ham in here. Do you want some gravy?
So how organised do you have to be to run the kitchen here?
A lot of forward planning is involved. Like you have to have all those menus written out for basically the entire intake, really, so you know what's coming up. You know what you need to order. You can't afford to be spending your time fumbling around looking for things and driving into town to pick up things that you haven't ordered. Obviously, you have to maintain a really high standard of cleanliness. Again, that's just hygiene. You don't want sick boys because of the food.
And is it, I guess, like you say, you've only been here 10 days, but these boys are doing things like, you know, cooking their own meals that most 14-year-olds don't do. Is it really neat sort of seeing what they're capable of doing and that sort of thing?
Yeah, and I haven't really had an opportunity yet to really get in there and get involved in their cooking in their houses yet, but it's something that I certainly will do. They've got coal range ovens as well, so they've not just got to cook their own food, but they've got to chop that wood and get their fire going and maintain that temperature, which is a skill that nobody knows anymore, you know. I took my grandmother through one of their houses the other day and she was just shocked and surprised, but I think it took her back a little bit and yeah, it certainly gave her a bit of something to smile about.
Tihoi is all about learning by experience, and most of those experiences are in the outdoors, things like hiking, mountain biking and sea kayaking. So today we're going to join the group on a hike. Let's go and check out what they're doing.
Basically, we run a NCA Level 1 program, and this one's a biology unit standard or achievement standard, and the boys need to go up and they need to conduct field research. So what we do is we take them up the mountain, and this is their practice. So they're introduced to the way to conduct field research, and they've got a methodology and a hypothesis that they're working through, and it's their chance to ask questions and get stuff done. In about 3 weeks' time, we're going to be moving on to their chance to operate their own field research, and they'll be choosing something different, something closer to Tihoi, into the bushline, something based around the biogeography that we've been teaching. What they're going to do then is run it, and they've got 3 days to produce their methodology, run a field trip, and produce a report, and it's going to be worth credits to them for next year.
Can you tell me about the trip that you went on this afternoon?
The trip we went on this afternoon was we went up to the summit of Mount Poreora, measuring the length of horopito leaves, which is for a science experiment, science task. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going on an alpine experience as my outdoor rotation for the first of this set. Yeah, we're going up Mount Ruapehu, and we staying in a hut, just higher than the cafe there. Yeah, and we're going to try and reach the summit, depending on the weather and that. So it'll be challenging, it's quite steep in places, but overall it'll be a great experience.
The boys are actually looking for horopito leaves, which is pepperwood, and they're going through looking at horopito trees and looking at the length of the first 3 leaves on the tree, looking at the length, and what they're overall looking for is the change in the length of the leaf due to the change in altitude. So as we move higher up, we'll be stopping 5 times, getting up towards the summit, and what we should be seeing, according to scientific theory, is that the leaves get smaller. Whether that actually happens or not, that's what the boys are finding out. So they're aware of what the scientific theory is, and now it's a matter of putting that theory into practice.
The things I really enjoy about Tihoi is the fitness and the outdoor rotations, because I mean you get to hang out with your mates outside, outdoor, and it's pretty fun.
So you're now at the start of week 10 from your time here. What do you think you've learned, and how do you think you've grown and developed in your time here?
I think I've grown a lot, because I appreciate what I have as in Tihoi now, not as when I was at home, because a lot of things you have at home but not at Tihoi now, so you appreciate lots of stuff here, and just like learning new stuff by yourself.
And tell me about the solos.
The solos, you have a 6-hour solo, which we just did before Easter break. You just, we went at 2 o'clock, and then we did a 6-hour solo till 8. The solos, you have to basically set up a bivvy. You can build a natural one, or you can use the one that they gave you, and then you just write some journals, and you just enjoy nature.
What we've identified is the fact that the track itself that we've been moving up is actually a variable for them, so they're trying to identify things that are going to mess up their data. So they've identified that the track will allow cold air to move through, that it'll allow animals as well as people to move through, and maybe that will affect the size of the leaves. And so what they've put in place is the idea of, well, let's move away from the track. And so they've got a piece of string, and they've decided that they're going to move 5 metres off the track and then measure from that point forward, hopefully removing the track as a variable. Yeah.
So we got to come on the trip with you guys this afternoon. So can you tell me kind of what the whole idea about this afternoon was?
Today we went up to Mount Poreora, and we had to measure the length of the leaves from the first branch, the second branch, and the third branch. When we got up to the summit, we couldn't find any trees that was higher than our teacher's height. So we just had to find trees and then just copy that down from 5 different trees.
So what was the aim of the day? Like what were you working towards by doing that trip?
To find, is it true or false that the higher you go up in the mountain, the leaves go longer, and to also get some notes down for our science.
I thought we were coming out here this afternoon just for a hike, but as it turns out, the teachers have managed to incorporate some lessons into the afternoon. The boys have been doing some study towards their Level 1 NCEA biology. The team here at Tihoi are doing some fantastic things, and I'm left wondering, what's next? We'll see you next time on Thinking Forward, where we carry on the great story at Tihoi.